Hello, and welcome to C++ Weekly. I'm your host, Jason Turner. I am available for on-site training, code reviews, and contracting. Now, a while back, I started this project called the Cpp Starter Project that I have on GitHub, and I started it, I believe, in the episode of Intro to CMake, where I run through a bunch of different things that you might want to put in a basic C++ project. So we have the Cpp Starter project that's up on GitHub, and the entire point is for you to be able to clone it or copy the code or something and use it as a basic getting started example with CMake and some static analysis tools and Travis integration and AppVeyor integration. Well, I decided that it was time to do some additions to it, and as you might be able to see here from the name of the branch that I'm currently operating on, I've added some GUI examples. Now, I do not pretend to be an expert in any of these GUI toolkits, but I thought, this is one of those things people want to display something in their application, and some GUI toolkits, such as Qt, have the tendency to be a little bit difficult to get started with because you've got multiple build tools in play and such, and we have a few other contenders lately like Nana that claim to be a modern C++ GUI. So these are the four that I've picked, and you can kind of see them here. I have FLTK because it's really easy to integrate, GTK-MM, which is, I believe, often overlooked, but has a very modern interface to it, to the source code interface, that is, the C++ API, and it is a C++ wrapper around GTK, which is the GIMP toolkit. It is the library that is used for implementing the GIMP, the graphic image manipulation program, I believe is what that stands for. That's probably not right. GNU image manipulation program. We've got that. We've got mGui, that's the immediate mode GUI, and this is very popular for game kind of things. So we've got that, and we've got Nana FLTK. Now, I am at this exact moment in the video putting out a call for help for anyone who is more of an expert in any of these. Go ahead and fork this branch that I have, this Add GUI Examples branch. It is up on GitHub, and manipulate these examples, make it look better, do whatever should be done, but still keep it very, very simple. So I've got, for each of these, a README file that tells me where I got this particular example code from. And we can just browse through them pretty quickly. We have FLTK here, and we are doing some playing around with, I was looking at the UTF-8 locale there just to see what the locale is currently set to. Now, this is one of those GUIs where you don't really see anything being deleted in any of their projects. It's all like news everywhere, and then you set like children, and honestly I have absolutely no idea if this is done correctly, but I am creating a window, I am adding a box to it with the words hello world in it, and then I am ending the window, and or I'm ending that I have set up the window, I am showing it, and then I am running the application. With our CMake project here, we have it set up so that we can make the FLTK test FLTK, and that built a new target for us called test FLTK. And we can see our window that pops up and shows us that we have hello world. And that's it. It's just that simple. So we can close that, and we get back to our prompt. So it seems to at least shut down the GUI correctly. And we can see here that we've got bold and italic and a large label size set, and we're executing it. So that works. Like I said, if you're an expert in FLTK, definitely make this example better. Similarly, we have a GTK-MM project, and again, this is modeled after the official examples on their websites. So we create a new application, and then we run our hello world application right here, which is defined in our hello world files, and this is pretty straightforward. It is just a button click with a signal handler, and in our CBP file, we can see that we are setting up our hello world thing, and this, like I said, has a very modern C++ feel to it. We're using our member initializer list to set up what our button is going to do. We do have to explicitly show it down here, which I find a little awkward, but we can set up these type-safe signal handlers so that it calls our on button clicked, and it's going to print out to the console hello world when we do it. So we should already have this built also, but I'll just go ahead and run through this. And yes, we have a hello world button. I press it, hello world gets printed, and this one is a much smaller window, so sorry, it's probably not terribly visible. And continuing on in alphabetical order, I have MGUI. Now I am using the excellent work from Elias, which you can see on his GitHub project here, mgui-sfml, where he takes mgui and ties it together with sfml and gives you this really handy, easy to use thing in C++. And he is using this in his own game engine. So I started with that, and there's a couple of files that have been copied into the repository this way, and it seems that, in fact, we, with mgui, are kind of expected to copy the source code in or use it as an external Git project or something. And then I'll show in a moment how I have this being built in our CMake list file. So we have this, but what we are concerned about specifically is how we actually use it. And this is the example that has been taken from Elias's GitHub project. So this is also kind of lot C++, but that's very much with mGUI, the immediate mode GUI. The idea is that on every single frame redraw, you say every single thing that you want drawn. So we have a while loop, it pulls for any pending events, and then it comes through and we say we want to create some new object called hello world. We want to put a button in it called a button, and then we want to end that object, and then we need to draw the window that contains these things and the shapes and the and render this window that we just created. So this is, again, very straightforward. It takes a little while to map your mind around it, but it's not hard to use once you get used to it. And we can get something here that has our hello world with a little window in it and a button that we can press and a circle that has been drawn in the background. And considering there's only like 10 lines of code, pretty cool. And that one probably could use some help in its example also. And then finally is Nana, I believe that's how it's meant to be pronounced, which is the probably most modern from scratch C++ GUI framework. And this is pretty straightforward. We've got some HTML style rendering to be able to put in like our buttons and format them, and then we use these insertion operators to actually add elements to other things, but you don't see any explicit news or deletes in here, so this is definitely a win. Also, like GTK-MM from a modern C++ perspective. And I won't speak to exactly how all this is put together, but we can see that it is using a lambda for setting up a click event. So let's go ahead and run this test also. And we can see that it has done this formatting like I showed and has a quit button. Press the quit button and it exits the application. So at the moment, the CMake file is not terribly well organized. It is all at the top level, but I attempted to use the best practices still for CMake and put in a lot more explicit discussion on what warnings we have enabled for which compilers and why. And for FLTK, GTK-MM, and mGUI, I am relying on system visible libraries, and for Nana I am doing an external project add, so it is doing a checkout of the project and a build for you. So these other ones at some point will need to get updated so that they are better at finding the appropriate components on non-Linux that already has these packages installed. But so there you have it. This is some updating that I've done to the Cpp Starter Project just to have a little bit of GUI support in there. And again, if you are an expert in any of these toolkits, feel free to submit a pull request, and we can see if we can make this a best practices example for how something like this could be organized. And then future users of Cpp Starter Project could just pull out the specific components they want if they wanted to start from GTK-MM or something similar. So again, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, check out any of the links here, and leave a comment below.